Good morning, everyone. It's 10:30 on Friday morning. You know what time it is?
It's time for CEO Chat. Joe.
Yes, and you're Alcini.
I better be. You're Joe Esamendi,
Yes, I
and it's
am.
always a pleasure working with you.
My pleasure here.
But who's this?
This is Elizabeth Clifford. Elizabeth, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for having me.
President
It's
of
such a pleasure
Heritage
having you.
Financial and Clifford
You
and
can
Clifford.
leave over Ann now, Joe.
Did you want to check my hand too?
As a matter of fact, I do, but I'll do that a little later on. Thank you for offering.
Well, so Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about Heritage Financial.
Oh, let's see. Well, Heritage Financial is a collection agency.
Okay?
Woo! Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We want to point out, too, right off the bat, you are not at all the kind of person we picture in our minds
Right.
I know.
when we talk about collection agents.
Yes, and just know that there are many of us out there that look just like me.
And it's more of a consultative thing now, and then it's not enforcement so much anymore. It's trying to make a plan with people who might be in trouble.
Absolutely, that's the way it's always been. It's just beating down that reputation that's been a challenge.
Well, and it used to be where people just hound you on the phone and everything like that, correct?
We
Is that the
we still call people.
Oh, you do? We still
yeah,
call
yeah,
people?
yeah. Because they don't always want to talk to us. So I've learned over the years that avoidance of the negative is a human condition.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So if we're connecting you with the people who watch our program, if they have clients who are not paying their bills, who's the typical customer for you for Heritage Financial?
Our clients are majority of them are banks and medical practices.
Okay.
So medical facilities, surgical centers, medical practices, and banks. That's where we specialize, and we work with commercial businesses as well.
Okay. And most of the time when you're doing collections, you're doing the collections from a private citizen or from a business or?
Most of the time, it's a private citizen, so it's consumer work. About 10% of it is business to business.
Okay. And you were saying before the program, by the time you get it, generally the process is pretty far along.
Yeah, for example, we were talking, we don't repossess cars, but the car has already been repossessed.
Okay.
So, us calling is adding a little bit of insult to injury.
wow.
It's not, somebody is not in a good situation. They've lost their car, but they still have a deficiency balance on the account, so it does have to get resolved.
And you'll consult with them to work out a plan?
Absolutely. Because
It's
it
not
takes a
about
lot.
trying to hurt them even more than they might already be hurt.
No, the idea is to figure out what situation they're in now, because it's possible that by the time we get the account, the car could have been repossessed a year earlier. So somebody, especially in this economic time, people are rebounding faster than they did from, say, 2008 to 2015.
What's your success ratio for getting these accounts paid?
It depends on the client and the demographics. So
Okay.
if I'm working on a client, let's just say they're not my customer, but let's just say you're working on an American Express account.
Okay.
That client is going to have a different demographic that they give their card to, and the person is more than likely going to get reemployed quicker.
Okay.
And so your rate of recovery is going to be higher on those
Generally
accounts.
higher. Maybe a little down the road, but you'll get there, and
Exactly.
that's kind of the point.
Exactly.
So one reason to call you is if there's a balance deficiency in a client of mine, or if I have that kind of a profile in my business,
Yeah.
I can give you a call and we can work together and you can come up with a plan to collect money for me.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
but there's one other thing that I know you do. You describe yourself as an entrepreneur. You're really kind of a serial entrepreneur. Because don't strike me as the kind of person who
Started
can
with my
sit
lemonade stand.
still. Exactly. So the second business that you're in is Clifford and Clifford CNC,
Yes.
which is a media company.
Yes.
But you do a lot of high-end print jobs for some pretty big outfits.
Yes,
Talk about the printing things
it's
that you do.
specialty papers, so it's paper and packaging. They started off in newspapers, magazines, and catalogs. My association with them began when I bumped into the owner of the business in the elevator, and we introduced ourselves, and it turned out we had the same last name.
Really?
We had fathers that had the same name. Fathers went by the same nickname,
No kidding.
and both of our fathers were in the Navy.
Wow.
And so we just, were like,
Hit it off.
yeah, we hit it off, and we would have these conversations. And I say, we had an Irish penchant for exchanging information. So, and that's how John and I began. And just for the viewers to know that he did pass away
sorry to hear
in
that.
November. So we do have some things that we're working on in his memory for naval families. So
Okay.
that's another part of our philanthropic work that we plan to do
And
with Clifford and
we want
Clifford.
to spend a lot of time on the philanthropic work, but to wrap up the printing work, if there's a company out there with a high-end printing requirement that requires a lot of precision in execution, maybe 1 million pieces, maybe 250,000, 750,000 pieces,
Absolutely.
a large production run.
Yes.
You handle the entire project for that.
Yes, from soup to nuts, yes.
Well, great.
We'd
So
manage the paper,
It could be
manage the
from
printer.
design work all the way through execution.
Yes,
And you guarantee results.
absolutely.
Well,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
important.
Yeah.
And some of your clients are pharmaceutical companies. I know they're big health
Yes,
healthcare companies.
yes, they are. Magazines, catalogs, newspapers. So
Wow.
runs
wow.
the gamut.
That's
Yep.
great.
How long you been doing that?
I've been only doing that for a few years. I've been the collection agency is where I've been spending most of my time since
okay.
1977.
Oh, wow. Been,
Yeah.
been a while then.
Yeah, so this was something I was looking for something. I was just looking for something new, something that I could use my current client base to expand, and it kind of just stemmed from a conversation that John and I were having, and he said, I think I had sent them a lead. I thought somebody, a bank I was working with, I said, gee, maybe you would like to do business with them. They were working with another, I'm a certified woman-owned business, and they were working with another certified minority business. And he said, you know, why don't you do it for yourself? So I said, gee, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. So I learned a lot about the business, and I continue to learn more and more.
That's great.
Yeah,
But-
so it's
but the big
been a
thing-
nice segue.
The thing that's interesting to me is that Turning the Tide, which is your not-for-profit,
Yes.
you are a collection agent with a heart, which sounds like almost impossible. But the truth is, you really do enjoy making a difference in people's lives when they're struggling, or
I do.
and it started with Hurricane Sandy. Is that right?
It started with Hurricane Sandy, and over the years, Heritage has employed, we've employed kids from the high school, and we've given them scholarships, and I have friends and family that have been in troubled times and help them out with different types of scholarships. But Turning the Tide came about from listening to a radio show and hearing about a woman who was my mother's age, and my mother's now 91. She was my mother's age at the time, and she ended up in a shelter. And I started to picture what would it be like for my mother to be in a shelter and
Right.
all the complications without having a family.
Right.
And so I approached the New Jersey Board of Collection Agencies, which I'm a part of, and I said, you know, how do you feel about raising money? I was really thinking small at the time. I was thinking, you know, maybe we raise enough money to pay their electric bill for the year, and that's one less thing they have to think about while they're gathering themselves and their belongings.
Right.
And they were all for it. And then I was put in touch with an old friend of mine from Texas who had a collection agency, who was the president of our international association. And he said, Elizabeth, you know, I've been looking for something to, he felt like he needed a purpose.
Right. Okay.
Well,
And he said, this is right, exactly what I've been looking for. So it snowballed from there. So we ended up collecting money from collection agencies all across the country.
Really? So it's national then?
Yeah, and then we helped 2 families in Union Beach put their homes back together.
wow, that's great.
Yeah,
And you're based in New Jersey, so
Yes.
you're primarily working with people who are in distress in the state
In
of
New Jersey, yes, that's what we were
Okay,
focused
great.
on.
So
yeah.
so you get pretty personal then with some of these people that you benefit.
Yeah, the first couple I met was living in a trailer in their driveway, and her sister lived around the corner in Union Beach, and her house was destroyed too. And so there were 3 adults in a trailer that was not that big, and I know that the gentleman was very apprehensive. He didn't know who I was. He didn't want to take money from anybody, and
Right.
he was like, "Who are the?" I guess because a lot of people came out of the woodwork and they were doing things to people. They were taking advantage of people in those
Right.
times, and we
Right.
did see a lot of that.
A lot of
And
fraud.
so we had to put our best foot forward and say, we're here to help, and this is who we are, and you can Google us and read about the company, and so you can get an idea of who we are and what this is all about. And so they relaxed and they let us help them, and they ended up becoming really good friends.
Well, that's
Good.
great.
Yeah, both families.
So you get to know, you don't just throw money at people and walk away.
No, that was
You-
the point of
You
choosing.
want to get involved. You want
Yes.
to know what the real problem
Yeah,
is. You
we
want
wanted
to
to
know
know
where
the
money's
problem
going.
and where the money was
Right.
going.
Yeah,
Exactly.
where's it going? Are we really solving the problem?
Yes.
Now, a lot of people out there are going to figure, well, you know, why do I need to donate to Turning the Tide? FEMA takes care of these things.
But they don't necessarily take care of all the little things that people need. And we were able to steer them towards contractors. We were able to give them government resources because it's so helter-skelter when all of that's happening. I mean, Union Beach was hit really hard. And so there, one family we worked with, they woke up in the morning and they walked over to another family member's house and it was gone.
Wow.
Wow.
So
Think about that.
think about where they're starting from.
You make a huge difference in people's lives. We're going to take a break,
We have to take a break right now.
yeah, but it's going to be great coming back to
Yeah.
talk to you about how you help people pick up the pieces because
Exactly.
at the worst times in their lives.
Stick around, we'll be right back.
Right back with more Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Clifford.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
Choosing Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away, 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no obligation Medicare benefits consultation, 856-226-4800.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean.
Hippity hop.
Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches. Solid rock. And everything in between.
Look in the window.
Now that's New Jersey.
Burlington County College.
Is now Rowan College of Burlington County.
Still the same great faculty.
At a community college ranked top 50 in the nation.
Basically, we earn more and pay less.
RCBC students are accepted at Rowan University after graduation.
And get a bachelor's degree for around $30,000.
Online and Mount Laurel students get a 15% Rowan University tuition discount.
And have many scholarship opportunities.
So you earn more and pay even less.
Rowan College of Burlington County.
Your path to success.
They are the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. But what does it take to strengthen our service members? What does it take to let them know that we stand behind them, wherever they are? What does it take to bridge the distance and keep them connected to family, home, and country? And what does it take to prepare them for their future when their service to the nation is complete? What does it take to strengthen our service members so they can be the greatest force for good in the world? It takes a force. Be a force behind the forces. Share a message today at force.uso.org.
I want to be a contender. I want a warm belly to sleep on.
A big house. How do I look? Do I look good?
I want to play hard.
My nails done once a month.
I want
a home. I just want a home. I want someone to love.
Last year, more than 30,000 companion animals came to us without homes. 20,000 of them were felines. Let's make some homes together.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
Choosing Medicare coverage can be a very confusing and complicated process. Help is just a phone call away, 856-226-4800. As a licensed insurance agent, I'll assist you in making an informed and confident decision on a Medicare plan that meets your needs, lifestyle, and budget. Call me today for a free, no obligation Medicare benefits consultation, 856-226-4800.
Boardwalks built for fun. Legendary rock and roll clubs.
This is how we do it. Hippity hop.
Casinos by the ocean. Now that's New Jersey. 130 miles of beautiful beaches.
Good morning, everyone, again, and welcome back to CEO Chat. I'm Joe Osamendi.
I'm Al Cini.
Good to see you, Al.
It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. And you are Elizabeth Clifford.
Do you want to shake my hand?
Absolutely.
That was good. That was better.
President of
We'll use that one in the shot,
There you go.
in the promo.
I like it. I like it.
We were talking before the break, Elizabeth, about Turning the Tide, which is your not-for-profit that helps people
Yes.
in distress. And you mentioned it started with stories related to Hurricane Sandy.
Yes.
But that's just how it started. Now, we still live in an age where, fortunately, climate disasters are relatively few and far between. But that doesn't mean people don't end up underwater through no fault of their own during times when the weather's nice. And you help them too.
We do. Now, we don't help them financially. What we would do in their situations is we would help them out in finding a method that would be appropriate for them and their situation to pay the bill back.
Okay.
Unless somebody's filing for bankruptcy and they're completely, we look at their credit report and we can see this is not somebody who can come back from this, and that's what the bankruptcy rules were written for.
Right.
So we can help guide them. We can make suggestions on where they can either go to a family member. Is there anyone? Sometimes there's insurance policies that they can borrow against. Sometimes they have savings at work that they can borrow from. And I think that when people are in a situation where their back is against the wall and they're panicking because what they're used to having isn't there anymore. And sometimes it's been taken away very quickly. And so we are there to calm them down. Let's try to think through this clearly. Maybe there is another option here that we can help you work on. And we'll take payment arrangements from people, help them get on their feet. We might say, we'll take reduce some amount of money for the next 6 months until you find a job, and then we can talk about the balance after that.
What are some of the typical reasons people get in this situation?
They would, there could be a loss of a job. It could be a loss of a family member that was a breadwinner. It could be an illness, auto accidents. So there's a lot of things that people, those are not things that are planned.
Right.
And that's happening to people older and older now too. So,
yes. Yes.
when you lose a job and you're in your 30s, that's a pretty different situation from when you lose a job and you're in your 60s.
Yes. Very different because they're not reemployed as quickly.
Yeah.
Although they're probably the better worker.
Yeah, probably.
They show up on time.
We've said that often, but it's just the world we live in. It's the nature of people, and so that sometimes the runway to get back in the air again is a little longer, maybe a lot longer.
Yes,
in those cases.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
So what do you see in the collection business that's going to be in the future? Is it going to be has it really evolved in a lot since you started it?
Oh, I would say, going forward, they're talking about legislation right now that will clarify how many times you can call somebody.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. They get involved in this on a federal level and on a state level, but to decide how many times you can call someone. Can you call them 7 times a week? Can you call them 2 times a day? And I think I've said this before. I really think that if you were to take the telephone call the first time someone calls you, and I know that you're expecting something unpleasant, and I know it may be something that's unpleasant to deal with. And everyone that works for me certainly understands what it's like to have had hard times.
Sure.
They're people, and so we understand that, but avoiding it is not going to make it go away unless you're planning to file for bankruptcy. So my best suggestion is for people to deal with it head on, rather than being annoyed by telephone calls. And I know that people's blood pressure goes up because I can hear it in their voice when they call. And usually the angrier they are usually is in proportion to how much money they owe. Right. And so my best suggestion is for people to deal with it as quickly as possible. Even if you can't pay the full amount, even if you think that you don't owe the money, if somebody keeps calling you and it's the wrong phone number. Right. I had somebody who said to me, it says it says to hang up if it's not John Smith. And I said, oh geez, that's That's one of the laws,
Yeah.
that you have to leave a certain type of message, and if you're not the right party, you shouldn't be listening to it.
Right.
But you finally said you didn't, you kept calling, and I said, well, I appreciate the fact that you called. And there are agencies that have special phone lines set up where you can call in to say, you're calling this phone number, it's not the right party, please take me off your list. So we see a lot of that, and I think a lot of us we're working on something right now, putting something on our website so people can just leave a message right on our website if there's an issue.
Yeah. So Heritage Financial, I know you're based in New Jersey.
We have Upper
Did you
Saddle
say your
River.
office is in Hackensack?
Upper Saddle River. It used to be in
Upper
Hackensack.
Saddle River used to be Hackensack.
Yeah.
Your clients are all in New Jersey?
Yes, most of them.
Okay, so, and by clients, we're talking about people who are trying to collect money.
Yes.
But the people who owe the money might not be in New Jersey.
Most of them are in New Jersey too.
Most of them are in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Now, understanding the
Majority of them.
laws on both ends of that conversation are really important, and that's obviously something you keep abreast of.
Right. So we stay on top of compliance, and we're actually working with a company that helps other businesses. So we hired them ourselves for Fair Debt and Collection Practices Act. So it's known in the industry as the FDCPA. So we have an email sent to everyone in our office every morning asking questions about the FDCPA. And it helps people anchor themselves to what they're doing each day. We all know what the rules are, but it doesn't help, it helps to be refreshed. And we're also helping our clients where they have, let's just use an example of the banks that do teller training. So you have you hire somebody and they train the tellers. There's a high turnover there with tellers. So this is a product that they could get on a daily basis. Their tellers could get an email, and we can do the same thing with any of the businesses that we work with to say, give us your training manual, we'll create the questions, and then it'll be powered by another company, and it'll be sent to your people every day. So it's one way to help our clients help their employees.
Typically, how long does a business wait before they call a collection agency?
Well, the banks have a regular pattern, and so do the medical offices. They may wait until everything's been cleared through the insurance companies to make sure all of that's been exhausted. With the banks, there could be situations where a car is going to be repossessed. They wait for all of that. The car gets auctioned off. Business to business, some businesses, they can wait anywhere from 120 days to somebody might say, I've had this on my books for 3 years and it's just bothering the heck out of me, and can you collect it?
Okay.
And how do you charge for that? What's your business model?
So our rate is anywhere from a third up to half, depending on how long they've been, how long they've had it, and has somebody else had it before us.
Okay, great.
We're at the point of our program right now where we can have you look right in that camera and tell people who should call you and how they can reach you.
Okay, so like any bank in New Jersey can call me. Medical offices and surgical centers. My name is Elizabeth Clifford. My office is in Upper Saddle River, and my direct line is 201-818-6877.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Definitely having now you're self-conscious. Great having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad I'm meeting you on the show rather than at Heritage. Hope we don't meet each other then. Okay.
No, I wouldn't mind though if I were in a situation like that. I think I'd like a collection agent like Elizabeth to be calling us.
Absolutely.
And I think that you'll find that most of them are. That's really the truth. I mean, and there are some mills.
Right.
Yeah. These are tough times for these people, but you're looking for a win-win, really, and it's not about punishing.
It's not.
The sooner you face it, the sooner you fix it.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yeah. Thanks
thank
for
you
joining
again.
us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We'll have another program in another half hour, and see you then.
We'll be back in half an hour. Thank you.
Take care.
Who do you have next?